York.
No, we don't ever use it like that. That's not how we
That
use
that John that John north of D.C. in Baltimore.
it. I don't know that we quite use that like that.
First of all, I've never heard you use the word. So,
What, John?
yeah,
I used to use it back in the day, man, when I was younger. John's
I've
been around a
never.
long time. It's been around a long time.
Oh, of course it has. I mean, I was on the bus one day and like this lady in her 80s was like, "Excuse me, you gonna use that, John?" I was like, talking about like a paper. So I'm like, "Lady, did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Like you're like in your 80s?" She was like, "Yes, son." She went all DMX on me, like, "Yes, son. Pass me that John, son. You got a light for this John?" So, yeah, but it's true. I mean, it is funny, man. You see, like, you to see older like people using that word is hilarious, and it just rolls off the tongue, like yeah, this is a John, that's a John, just like in the movie Creed. Old girl's like,
No, actually, homegirl, when she used it, did not sound like it was natural to her.
"Well, she ain't from Philly, of course it wasn't.
It didn't sound very natural at all.
She's an actress,
Yeah.
but she nailed Billie Holiday."
She nailed Valkyrie. That's the main thing.
Oh, oh no, that's sorry, that wasn't Billie Holiday. She didn't do
That's
Billie
Audrey Day
Holiday.
played Billie Holiday. Yeah.
But
No.
yeah, she that's right. Yeah, but she's done some great stuff. The actress
Oh yeah.
from Creed.
Yeah. She's also the Valkyrie and the new king of Asgard in Marvel.
That's right. Oh, so check this out. So speaking of black women and music and film, by the way, this is the Power Hour. We can do all the intros officially later, but tomorrow,
Hmm.
Kathia Woods is going to be on with us.
Hmm.
Kathy has been on before. She's kind of like our go-to, like what's happening in the world of, like TV, film, music, etc. She is a voter for the Grammys, by the way. And
Hmm.
so she's very, very tied in. And so, the Grammys have come and gone, and we didn't get a chance to like really talk about that. But Beyonce made some history, and anytime you have the Grammys and the Academy Awards, there's always going to be some drama. It's always going to be something. So she'll be on to talk about all of that, what happened with the Grammys, and looking forward to toward the Oscars, her predictions, and I also asked her if she could talk about Issa Rae, the actress.
Oh wow. What's wrong with Issa Rae?
Oh, well, she's finishing the show Insecure from HBO,
Okay.
and
But
so
she's
that's
making
like
movies now.
man, they've given her like a sweet deal. So
Oh really?
Issa Rae, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying what's the woman who made Selma, and
Ava DuVernay.
yeah, that's right, thank you. So I'm not saying she's going to be the next Ava DuVernay,
Hmm.
but she's going to be a player.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, so she's got like she is definitely expanding her footprint, and who knows, she might be the next Ava DuVernay. I suspect her films will probably be more kind of a commercial success versus some of Ava DuVernay's, which have gone. I mean, almost
Well,
kind of
Ava
like
DuVernay's
comparing.
got a big contract with Netflix, right? She left ABC because of the way they were treating her, and she got a big contract with Netflix now.
Yeah,
So,
it'll almost be like comparing Spike Lee and Lee Daniels, right?
right,
I mean,
right.
Lee can go there, but Lee does other things.
Hmm.
Spike tends to every movie Spike does is kind of a rehash. You could do the right thing, in a sense. Malcolm, all of them. I mean, it's good stuff, but it's very, very, he has a kind of one concern. And Ava DuVernay, I think, is in that same spirit where some folk are just deep like that. They don't want to do the kind of the pop culture kind of thing. My sense is that Issa Rae will do both, but again, we'll get more of that tomorrow from Kathy Wood. So if
Sure,
that's your cup
sure.
of tea, be sure to tune in because I'm telling you, man, she is like locked in on that world, and it's important. So anyway, the two of us here talking about the show for tomorrow, none other than sitting across from me, Bishop Dwayne David Royster,
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
and our correspondent from the studio, holding it down. I don't know how she like maneuvers in that place and gets everything done, but it's none other than Kawesa. What's up?
Kawesa.
Good morning. How
Good morning, Kawesa. How you doing today?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
How was your ride in?
Not too bad. It's actually kind of warm outside. It's raining a little bit. I guess spitting might be the right terminology. there, and just a lot more cars and trucks out on the road. So, maybe make some extra time. I'm gonna have to do that, tomorrow and moving ahead in the future because these trucks, man, they're going like 5 miles per hour, and I'm like, okay,
Oh wow.
no, and it's like a
They're just getting
one-lane
started,
road,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Oh wow.
I can't even go around. So, yeah, maybe give yourself a little bit more time, like 10 extra minutes, just to, get
Gotcha.
there.
Appreciate that.
It is feeling better outside, you know. I mean, it definitely is feeling better outside. I was just outside for a moment, getting a little fresh air, in the lungs before we tackle these big stories of the day.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a whole new day. So listen,
Hey, wait a minute, I got to do a correction because I said it was Ava DuVernay that left ABC and went to Netflix. It's actually Shonda Rhimes. I apologize to all you Shonda fans out there in Shondaland who I gave the credit to the wrong person, because the sisters on the line were like, no, that was Shonda Rhimes. That was Shonda Rhimes. I was like, okay, my bad. Let me correct it. Now I'll make sure I straighten that out.
well,
Sarah and Tawanda were like on that like real quick. I was like, oh, okay, my bad. Sorry about that.
So yeah, so they will check you. They will check us. Hey, so all right, so today, look, I know there's a lot of serious stuff going on in the world right now, but indulge me for a few moments for a little frivolity. Can we go there for a moment?
I just say we're being stalked. I just want you to know that.
Are we really?
And Nick's out there again.
Crap. Kawesa, can you find the music for Jaws, like when the shark shows up? I mean, I'm actually being serious. We're like producing the show in public with full transparency, because in this generation, everything has to be out in the open. Can you just cue that up? Play a little bit of that every time we say Nick. If we reference Nick, if you can just play that real quick, a bar or two. No. So so listen, happy birthday to Wanda as well, to Wanda's mom out there in the Lancaster area, Harrisburg area. All right, so check this. I don't know which of these stories is worse, but this is a friendly warning to all radio hosts. Let's start there since Nick is listening. There may be other radio hosts or persons who would like to be radio hosts. So, I always say Nick is my radio mentor, and he gave me great advice my first day as he walked out of the studio and I was walking in. He said, whatever you do, just don't start off by saying, hello, Radio Land. And that was the extent of his advice. So thank you very much for that, Nick. What you didn't tell me is this. Don't use the airwaves to compare the black women that you prefer, that you like, that you want to get with, to pieces of toast. So a couple of guys up in Buffalo, they're not black. Part of the problem. A couple of white guys up in Buffalo have a radio show for now.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah, man, it's been swift, man. It's like a bit that went too far. It is a cautionary tale, and I can't tell you how many times there have been things that I wanted to say. I thought better of it, I probably shouldn't say that, And so, but these two guys on this morning show up there on a rock station, they started comparing black women to pieces of toast, to the black women's complexion to toast. And so one of them said, I don't like my toast when it looks like Serena. Something to that effect. That toast is too dark. I don't like Serena.
You're right,
he prefers Halle Berry toast.
Oh.
So Dwayne, what kind of toast do you like?
I'm not saying the word.
My God.
Allow me to suggest that I like pumpernickel and rye. I like wheat. I like Black Russian. I like it all. I like it all. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, Nick. Our listeners all be asleep by 4 p.m. You can use the story again. He said we took his story. Um, yeah, man. Listen, they literally did an entire bit on black women comparing black women's complexions to toast and which black women they liked.
Oh boy.
So they like a Gayle King piece of toast. They can eat their toast like Gayle King or Hallie, they said. But Venus and Serena, nah. That's been in there a little bit too long.
That's really bad. That's really bad. And I ate all kinds of toast. It's delicious. Thank you very much.
Oh man. I mean, what are they like?
I'm talking about toast, y'all. I just want to be clear. I'm talking about toast. Okay.
It's the show I think the show used to be called Morning Bull. That's the show. On Rock 97 up in the Buffalo area. But apparently I think they're on suspension or something.
Yeah, really? Really?
Yeah. So they'll I don't know what toast they're eating this morning. But I guess they like white toast. Also in the news. So first of all, let me just say, I have never, ever heard until yesterday of the quote unquote relationship guru, young black dude named Derek Jackson. Have you?
No, I have not.
Man, just show, all right. So just as a sub point to this, it demonstrates that in today's world, you don't need like an official platform. You don't need credentials, so you don't have to be on a radio station or a TV station or a network to have a massive following, because in this world today, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you can be famous and nobody really knows you unless they are part of your following. Deacon Maleka likes her toast dark, by the way, if you need it, if you need to know that. But she just put it in the chat. I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Just put hey, if you're black, you can talk about this, okay? But you're not gonna get in trouble because it's a totally different conversation than a couple of white guys sounding like former slave owners, like, hey, go get me some dark toast. Bring me back a couple of slices of dark toast. Yes, sir, boss. And get whatever you want while you're out there. That's a different conversation, is it not?
A little bit.
So Derek Jackson has become internet famous. I think he has like over 1 million Instagram followers.
Okay.
Dude, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And his last name is spelled Jackson.
Jackson. Oh, I think I saw something about him the other day. I don't remember what it was. I don't pay attention to internet famous people.
But listen, okay, first of all, you pastor people who do.
Yeah.
We organize among people who do. And so it is, that's why I always think that it's important that, we understand pop culture and what the trends are, because again, it impacts, it's like in your church, you may be preaching to folk who, they listen to you, but they're also listening to,
right.
Fill in the blank name of preacher with like 2 million followers. And so you do have to be aware of that. And so Sarah's like me. She had never, and like you, she never heard of this guy before. But, I'm always a little wary of people who speak of themselves in the third person. Third person speakers always I don't know. See, first of all, Mark Tyler would never speak of himself in the third person because he just doesn't do that. So that's why I don't do it, right? Because it's not good when you speak of yourself in the third person.
Yeah.
So he did it here. So apparently he's been doling out like major advice from his car for several years now. All of his videos, when we go to break in a minute, take a look at it. All of his videos for relationship stuff is like done in his car. Like he's sitting in his car. It's not even like really high quality stuff. The camera's shaking, like he's like moving it. And he's like literally talking about, he's like really talking about like what women should do. And it's just, I'm telling you, he's just been like, he is like the relationship guru.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's a young guy. He's married. He and his wife. And yes, Sarah, all of them from his car. So trust me, the social media's been having a field day with that. But he and his wife have had some marital issues, like a lot of young couples do. But so that's not a surprise. He's extremely popular. That's not a surprise. That's something for him and his wife to work out. So what people are making a big story about, though, is his apology video, where he and his wife are sitting there together. And if you think the video of the Clintons back when they were on the Today Show, when he was running for president, kind of like, was something, dude, this is like, I don't know. I honestly don't even know what to make of it. But I had literally never heard of this guy. But we'll pick this up in a moment. It's 6:20. We have to take a break. And so Mark Tyler and Dwayne Royster have to go for a moment. And Mark Tyler will be back in a minute, and so will Dwayne Royster, and so will I. The three of us will be back in a moment. This is the Power Hour. Don't move.
You probably heard it before, but one of the best ways to stay safe from COVID is by avoiding crowds. That's better. Also, when you're out in public, make sure you stay 6 feet away from strangers or people you don't live with. It's okay to say, "Can I have some space, please?"
Well, it's going to be a beautiful sunny day today, and we can expect much.
If you're gonna have a get-together with friends and family, have it outside. And remember to keep those 6 feet of social distance. And last but not least, wear a mask that covers your nose and mouth with no gaps. They slow the spread of COVID or new forms of the virus called variants. And make sure you get your vaccine when it's your turn. We're all out here trying our best, and it's making a difference. We just gotta keep it up. We can do this.
To learn more about slowing the spread, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That with me live this weekend, or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. This week, I'm talking to Jamira Burley, an activist, strategist, and storyteller. Plus, we'll hear from politics and pop culture expert Mike Muse, as well as my good friend Brittany Packnett Cunningham, an activist, educator, and author. More Than That is brought to you by General Motors. Visit gm.com for more on their commitment to becoming the most inclusive company in the world.
When I think about Two Americas, I am reminded that there are two real realities here in this country, solely based on the skin color that you have, the access to wealth, and the zip code you were born into.
Black folk for the first time are connecting the dots of my one vote does count. And I think this is where we are up until 2020.
We have so much power, and if you don't believe it, look at how much we scare folks when we decide to be about our justice business.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news happenings around Philadelphia and, of course, our opinion. And Mark Tyler and Dwayne Royster have plenty of opinions to share with you, including right now this conversation we're having about Derek Jacks and his car relationship advice.
Yeah. So it's like, so his brand was basically like calling brothers out, only to discover, as he admitted, that that's pretty much all he's been doing. So, I mean, I think, so there are a couple of things that are problematic, obviously. And his wife is sticking with him. So, who wants to see a couple break up these days? So, hopefully they can work it out. But it's, but the internet is basically what, again, like brought all this out. So the response is not because it's kind of like this, whatever, but it's, it's just the internet. So what people are, though, making a big, I guess, deal about is the video of him and his wife where he's talking about what happened, how they're moving forward. And the fact that the wife looks like literally like she is in a hostage video. The way he's holding her hand and won't let it go and pulling her into him, it just kind of looks, I don't know. I mean, I guess the big problem is it's like there's nothing wrong with like having a drinking problem unless you're the person who's been like, bashing people for having drinking problems. That's the kind of look that it is. You know what I mean? Where if you built your brand around kind of like beating up on alcoholics, and we find out that not only do you drink, but you own a distillery in the backyard and sell it. That's kind of the, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing, like I said, again, it's, look, you're a human. We get it. Relationships are difficult. We get it. Things happen. We get it. And so it's just, but again, it's like, again, if you're the anti-crack, advocate in your community, you can't also be a crack dealer. It's okay if you fell into it and you smoked crack, and you fell back and had a relapse, but you can't be the dealer at the exact time that you're going against the dealers. That's does that make sense?
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And so I think that's why people are coming like so hard for him. But bro, I'm telling you, like I said, that video, I felt bad for her, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's like a lot of political wives, right, that are standing by their man after they've done the thing, doing standing on stage in the public's, eye in the midst of all this. That's really tough.
You're right. Actually, I hadn't thought about that because he is their brand, for better or for worse. And
well, I mean, that's part of it, though, too, right? It's like that's how they make their money.
That's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you hurt him, you're hurting yourself as well. So to a certain extent, until you can get Plan B working, then you almost have to go along with this ride. As uncomfortable. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. She looked, as far as the worst example of being uncomfortable is what she looked like sitting there.
I can imagine that.
She just didn't look comfortable, but she was there because she knew she had to be. So, hey, man, best wishes to them. I hope you can work it out, but it's so much to unpack there.
She made a statement, and she said, people asked if she left or whatever, and she said, today I'm at peace and proudly stand by his side. This is in Essence magazine, by the way.
Yeah.
I have no hesitation, no hurt and shame about that, and it's only because of the grace of God and the mercy of God. And we have already turned a new chapter in this story. And she was letting everybody know, including the woman that he had cheated with and any others that he might have cheated with, that they are working together to try to make this thing work. So I get it.
Yeah, well, hey, good luck to her, man. I mean, as they say, who among us, that's ever been in a relationship can say that you are perfect. Not very many, but it's this is not just that. You know what I'm saying? That is not just that in this. And it also talks about, though, this whole phenomenon of persons who can become like quote unquote authorities and experts in an area without any kind of credentials, without any kind of like fact checking, just because you get a microphone. And in today's world, your cell phone becomes that microphone. Because Derek Jackson is just the tip of the iceberg. There are people like that in all types of walks of life. There's a meteorologist, for example, and I use that in air quotes, that I've seen on social who has like millions of followers. And like all the like real meteorologists can't stand this guy, right? Because he's like chasing storms. And the advice he gives, if you like listen to people who've really been trained in the science, they're like, will you all please, he's going to get you killed, right? And don't do what he's doing. But you know what? He's got a camera, and nowadays that's all you need. And he built up a following, and so people listen to him, and before they'll believe the Weather Channel, 9 times out of 10, they'll believe this guy. He says, the Weather Channel is going to tell you this. Don't listen to them. I've studied this storm, and I'm telling you what's going to happen. And people would take their advice from him before they will reputable, people from NOAA and other places like that. It is a brand new world. And our earlier conversation, I think sometimes those of us who are professionals in our area discredit that only to our own.
Pearl.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Just to know, Chardonnay said she was quoting online that she actually did a video saying that she forgives all of them, him and all the women, and for God told her to do that. So it's time to move on. So I'm like,
yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I mean, but it is, it's yeah. So Raphael says, especially in talk radio, there are many people with no credentials to do what they do, present company excluded.
Wow.
Well, Raphael. Wow. First of all, Mark Tyler is not offended by that statement. He is not. And I like my toast that looks just like Leslie. That's the kind of toast Mark Tyler likes. Bring the whole show together. You don't know what our show is today? That statement puts it in a nutshell.
That was smooth, brother. That was very smooth. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That was smooth.
I mean, so Tawanda says, generally, society hasn't managed the information age well. The technology advanced quicker than what people have been able to evolve and adapt. Tawanda, thank you. I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make. Listen, this is how Donald Trump became president. It is an age where the best tweeter becomes the authority. So it's like, so who has the best social media presence, the best posting? And so this is the person now that we believe, and like a herd, we run to that person, follow that person, only to get run off a cliff. I mean, right now, that's what I mean. Literally, there are people out there talking about with Derek Jackson, for example. Like, how many of you all's relationships are like a mess because you've been listening to this guy, right? And you've been taking, because the advice is like wild, dude. I mean, his stuff is like wild out there, right? And so, likewise, look at all the lives that have been ruined by a Donald Trump. But Donald Trump was only made possible via the information age that is unchecked. And it just speaks volumes to how we're going to have to grow into becoming responsible with the technology that we have created for ourselves. Because without that, I'm going to tell you, we're going to continue to have these kind of problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, watching the TikTok videos, like people out there begging for folk to like them, right? So they can build a TikTok following so they can then monetize their site and start making money from it, right? This is one guy that I follow on TikTok. His whole thing is about how to make money off TikTok. That's actually how he is building his base. Yeah. So it's actually really intriguing. I mean, the social media thing does do that. And then the problem is that folk that are credentialed to do these things are not spending time in those spaces. Mm-hmm. They're not, really, trying to get on TikTok. Although, I mean, I've seen some news anchors and others that are on TikTok, playing around and stuff like that, but they're not taking it seriously in the way that people are like, oh, I'm going to monetize this. I'm going to build a following. And then, I can say and do whatever, although I have no credentials, no background, no education on any of this, but I'm just going to tell them whatever and then make money off TikTok, and that's TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. So,
man, it's scary, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it is. This is like, it just, my God, a man became president doing exactly what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, he had a whole communications empire behind him to do that, though. That's the challenge, too.
But, I mean, it's, again, you don't need much, right? I mean, it explains Kanye in part as well, right? And people, I mean, look, it's also the fact that Kanye, you're right, became big as an artist first, but then they have this offshoot, and it's like you don't even realize who people are really following and the masses of people who get behind folk. And before you know it, all of a sudden, you have this. So anyway, one last thing. There's a father who tried to take a gun away from his son, tried to do the fatherly thing in Georgia. I don't know if you saw the video.
I didn't.
Yeah, he really did. And he tried to do, so if you found, if you found your son with the gun, what would you do? You're going to take it away from him, right?
Yeah.
The son pulled the gun out and started shooting at the dad.
Oh.
But the dad was packing as well.
Oh.
Started shooting back. The father and son had a shootout in their front yard, all caught on like their Ring surveillance video.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Neither got shot, and they were in Georgia, so houses are not that close together. I don't think anybody got hurt, but let's just say they both.
Neither one of them got shot?
No, they both need to go to the range.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but that's what I'm actually sitting thinking to myself. I'm like, they're not very good.
I told you I've been watching The Wire lately, right? It looked like like the scene from The Wire when like the boys in Baltimore start shooting at each other, like just you like turn your head away from the gun. It's like bang, bang. You just take off running and hope you hit something. I mean, literally, the father and son had a shootout caught on security cam. It's there if you need it. The son's gun jammed, too, at one point, which also explains, he's younger, so he can't afford a good gun. Because when you're younger, you buy those piece of crap guns that jam all the time. Dad probably had a Beretta or something. Pops was like just standing back like, nah, son, I got this. I'm like, no, they were black. Sarah, I'm sorry to tell you.
And wait a minute. Sarah's making fun of me, the fact that I'm on TikTok, but I don't know sports. Well, listen, if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's at Dwayne Royster. You can follow me on TikTok. I'm going to be looking to see who comes on TikTok to follow me. At Dwayne, DWAYNEROYSTER, at Dwayne Royster. So come on over to the other side.
Yeah, so, get prepared. You're not following the March Madness either, are you?
No, I do not follow the March Madness.
No?
No. And it's actually funny that, I always find it amusing. You come in and on my social media line, this thing is trending or that thing is trending. Because none of that stuff ever trends on my social media line. Most of the stuff I'm like, it's all politics. People are like mad, they yelling at somebody about something. I don't get all that cute stuff that shows up on my social media line. It just doesn't.
You got to expand your base. Well, I only bring it up because
I got
of this.
5,000 followers on Facebook. And it's 5,000 friends. Stuff doesn't show up on my page.
That's not what I mean. I mean, like, you have to diversify your friend group. You got to go in there and, like, delete 1,000 people and bring in some 1,000 new people who have diverse opinions. Hey, Oral Roberts is in the Sweet 16. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Oral Roberts University?
Oral Roberts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Evangelicals.
Mm-hmm.
They have done the impossible and made it to the Sweet 16 until I looked, and the whole starting five were all black guys. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is it just me? Or is there something somewhat odd about, it's Oral Roberts University.
And? There are a lot of black folk there. They're not just evangelicals. They're Pentecostals. And so that's charismatics.
I'm not going to say any more for fear that I'll get banned like the white toast talkers. But it just seems strange. It just seems very odd to me, given kind of the theological thrust, the conservatism.
They've always had a lot of black people.
Yeah, but these guys.
Crop Pearson went there?
Yeah.
Crop Pearson went there. There's a whole lot of black folk that went to Oral Roberts University. It's like there's a whole lot of black folk that go to Regents down in Virginia.
Yeah.
Which is Pat, what's his name's school? From the 700 Club.
Say Jack?
No, not Say Jack. Pat Roberts. Is it Pat Roberts from 700 Club?
Yes.
Yeah, that's his school down there. So, there are a lot of black folk that go to those schools. We have to be honest, there are a lot of black folk that are actually theologically conservative. And so they go to schools like that and their churches and, places like that. So, yeah.
And apparently they can play basketball too. So black conservatives can play basketball is what you're saying.
Well, I think they don't really care. They're just recruiting people to go play for their team. And they'll convert them. It's their way of converting people.
Yeah, I just tell you, it just I don't know. The whole thing just kind of struck me as odd. I'm like, again, I don't know. It hit me in just a weird kind of way watching it. Just given kind of the ways in which, white evangelical conservatives have kind of rolled lately. I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it there. But it hit me in a very strange way watching them celebrate on the floor,
Well, I don't know. Look, here's something that Will Mega, who's on YouTube, said. He said Georgetown owned slaves and have been a big-time basketball institution for decades. Georgetown University owes the fact that it's still there to the slaves that were sold to save the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a Catholic university. I mean, do we say this about the Catholic universities? Only 3% of all Catholics in this country are black. 3 or 4% of all Catholics in this country are black. So I mean, do we say that about Catholic universities?
Yeah, you can actually say it about most of these schools. In fact, you need, so you would like this, even though you don't like sports particularly. Have you read a lot of Harry Edwards' work or seen him speak?
Yeah, I know Dr. Edwards.
Okay, so we should get him on the show because, I mean, to Will's point, I mean, most of these schools have kind of rolled that way. But I mean, in this right now present moment, just given the tenor and the tone in the country and the silence of, that's really what I'm getting at, is more the silence of white evangelicals who kind of are in the spirit of an Oral Roberts, right? Like, where are they when white supremacists are attacking, the black vote? And where are they when they are attacking the Capitol and things of that nature? And then at the same time, you got like these black guys coming in to like roll their team into the Sweet 16. It just seems odd to me. That's what I guess I'm getting at, Anyway, but they are there in the Sweet 16. They made history. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Most of the faves from back in the day are not there. No Duke, no Kentucky, no UNC. The big names that are always there, the perennials, are not there. And instead, you got a bunch of names of folk that you don't typically see. Then you have other folk that you always see: Michigan, Gonzaga, Alabama. I'm pulling for Alabama.
Gonzaga, another Catholic school. Notre Dame, Catholic school. Villanova, Catholic school.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Alabama, though, the Crimson Tide, because of Avery Johnson, the head coach, former NBAer. 6:41. We got to take a quick break, and we come back. So I want to ask you about immigration, because Kamala Harris is now vice president, is being tasked with fixing the mess that's on the border. A lot of this is starting under the Trump administration. And get your thoughts on what needs to happen there, and just the immigration crisis in general. Like, what is it going to take to ultimately resolve this? And and your thoughts around that. It's the Power Hour, 6:41. Hit the share button, bring other folk into this conversation. And again, tell us, what kind of toast do you like? We'll be right back.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
If you understand the value of doing business with a company that values its clients, remember this name: Heat and Air Guys. At Heat and Air Guys, we give our clients extra value by offering lots of ways to make their lives easier, like financing for your installation. You get 18 months, no interest, no payments, 10-year parts and labor warranties, service on all makes and models, seasonal tune-ups, all offered by skilled, reliable technicians who value the opportunity to be of service to you. Call Heat and Air Guys at 610-583-3207.
Philly Peace in Progress nonprofit organization was started to create a positive change and bring awareness to the growing drug and gun violence in Philadelphia. Philly Peace in Progress is looking for volunteers to make a change with organized programs, mentoring, problem solving, conflict resolution, and more. If you are interested, email Nelson at phillypeaceinprogress.com or call 267-529-7255.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WordRadio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WordRadio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk media. Don't miss the Dr. Emeka Show on its brand new day and time. Sundays from 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. beginning Sunday, April 4th. Dr. Emeka. Exclusively on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Indeed.com. Some volume picks up southbound 95 Cotman through Bridge through construction. Again, south of Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound, not bad. Westbound Vine Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill eastbound City through the Boulevard. A bit slow there. Westbound City at the Belmont. Some volume there picking up southbound Boulevard Route 1. Delays broad down to Fox through the ongoing construction there. In New Jersey, 55 northbound. That's building from Deptford into 42. Now in Camden, Ben Franklin Bridge westbound. You're going to find some restrictions there heading toward the toll plaza. Again, some closures there this morning. If you're looking for to hire, think of Indeed as your GPS with great tools like Instant Match and over 135 skill tests. Indeed helps you navigate the hiring process from start to finish. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a Word Radio weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Steven Sosna.
Your Thursday morning drive has some dense fog in it, so give yourself that extra time to commute this morning. Otherwise, variable clouds this afternoon. It's warmer and dry with a high temperature of 72. A few showers and thunderstorms possible later on tonight. Mild with a low temperature of 61. And on your Friday, it looks like a morning shower and thunderstorm getting out of the way for afternoon sunshine, a gusty wind, and temperatures near record warmth, 80 degrees. By your weekend, sunglasses on Saturday. Sunshine takes us to 70 degrees. You'll need your umbrella on Sunday. Showers and storms at a high temperature of 68. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Steve Sauce.
You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster and Mark Kelly Tyler. Hey, Word family. Word Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. This year, we're highlighting black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. A big thanks to all of our nominees for joining us on this journey. We had an overwhelming response with almost 100 nominations. Tune in to Save Space, hosted by Sincerely Sarita, on Wednesday, March 31st from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a live, on-air Level Up pitch party where the 10 Philly finalists will compete to win a marketing package valued at over $5,000. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information. The 2021 Level Up Contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, and Thomas Jefferson University and Jefferson Health. All right, check it out. Wednesday, March 31st, 7 to 9 p.m. Listen to Sincerely Sarita as we hear all these great women businesses lift up and pitch their programs.
Oh, Avery got canned from Alabama. Man, it's been that kind of year. I haven't tuned in. Apparently, tough enough. Oscar, thank you for that bit of bad information. Well, in that case, then, I have to go to my old fallback, UCLA. It's always been my Cali team. My Cali, it's funny, I like UCLA, but hate the Lakers. So I have to go with the Bruins. Fallback after that is the Razorbacks. My mom's from Arkansas. Thanks, Oscar, for ruining my morning. Sheila says that she likes honey wheat toast. She says she's been told it's the tastiest. That's what she's been told. Sarah likes her toast burnt, all caps, exclamation mark. And just to show you how well-rounded we are, I mean, this is from extremes into the middle. Lola on YouTube says medium toast. Oh, medium roast, not burnt, no butter. See, black folk are all over the spectrum. But you can talk about this as a black person and not get fired from your show. As white people, you can't have the same conversation. There's a different connotation when we are talking about the skin tone that we prefer than when a couple of white guys are talking about it.
Right.
It's just a different look. You got to know what you can and cannot talk about.
That's right.
They got it bad. And it's, I think as Lola went on to say, that show is toast.
Somebody mentioned earlier, thought they got fired or something like that. So
yes, I didn't have time to read through all of it, but yeah, they're going to be gone. So, all right. So, bruh, Vice President Harris has been given the role that Joe Biden played for President Obama. First of all, why is there a continuing crisis at the border to begin with? Is this really on Biden for, quote unquote, inviting people to the border, as Republicans are saying? What is the real story about the crisis?
Yeah, so I don't think the president has invited people to the border. As a matter of fact, I never heard him say anything about that whatsoever, one way or the other. I do think people realize Trump is gone and that the Democrats are in power. In other countries, they understand, the differences in American politics, because American politics, unfortunately, has impact in all the South American, Central American countries that's happening. So part of this is people recognizing that Biden, who talked about immigration reform, talked about pathway to citizenship, some of this is trying to get, especially their kids, part of the challenge we have right now is children at the border, because the U.S. will not deport children if they don't know where they have to go back to. So people wanting to get their children into the country safe and then get them a pathway to citizenship. So there is a challenge right now because people are flocking to the border left and right. I don't know whatever gave them the impression that the borders were now open and we were just going to open up wide and say, come everybody to the United States of America. That has not happened. But we're in this relatively delicate situation where we now have to go negotiate with places like Mexico and Guatemala and countries where a lot of these refugees are coming from or going through, to get them to hold people back and prevent them from trying to cross, the U.S. border into the U.S. So
can I ask you? Let me just ask you this. So what is it about Western society that has not figured out how to create a world without these extreme haves and have-nots? That just, and I don't care what government, I don't get caught up in the capitalism, versus communism or socialism debate, because I just, I know too much about history. I haven't seen one of these forms of government work in a way that, or economies that works in a way that does not create the same thing, where you have all the wealth is all amassed in the hands of a few and to the detriment of the many. And it creates what almost looks like the historic world of medieval Europe, right? A castle where the people inside the walls get the benefit, and they're always surrounded by the poorest people who are begging for scraps of those going in and out. So what is it about this game plan that continues to recreate a system or a world that just doesn't work?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, we should acknowledge that America has done a good job marketing itself. So most people think everybody in America is rich. And so even when you think about it, undocumented families send folk over here to get jobs to send money back to them. So the imagination is that we're always rich. So do you want to stay where there's abject poverty, which actually is often done at the behest of the U.S. government? When you think about the North America Free Trade Agreement, it actually created poverty in Central American countries. And, it was paying, minimal wages for parts that were being imported into the United States, that then when they got to the United States, they were charged 100 times more. They were charging Americans 100 times more, but that money was not going back to the folk in Central America that were actually making the parts in the first place, right? So it was white folk taking advantage of brown folk, once again. And so, I think that's part of it. Part of this is, it is an economic system, right? And it's not just capitalism, it's unfettered capitalism. And there's a difference. Unfettered capitalism, which actually gets rid of regulation, it gets rid of controls and just lets it go buck wild. So then basically you get to a situation where it's, only the strong survive. And that's really what our system is. And it presumes from the very beginning that everybody starts out in the same level, and actually everybody does not start at the same level. And that's what the challenge is, because we have a system that has an erroneous ethic at its base, which says that everybody starts out at the same starting line. And I remember a sermon from Samuel DeWitt Proctor, the late Samuel DeWitt Proctor, that was he did a Children's Defense Fund, which talked about the scratch line. Yeah. And that there's some people that are at the scratch line. There's some people that are way behind the scratch line, and there's some people that are ahead of it. You can't compare the people ahead of it to the people that are all the way behind it, because they're never going to finish the race together.
But the prop, like I said again, and I won't have time to finish this up. Maybe we could pick this up in the morning when we start. Again, Kathy Woods will be with us to talk about the Oscars and the Grammys. She's a Grammy voter. But again, there is something inherent about the ways in which Western society, those who came out of Europe, designed society where I don't care. Before it was unfettered capitalism, it was a monarchy, and the system still worked the same, where everything was amassed in the hands of the few to the detriment of the many. That was not the case. You didn't find, I mean, historically speaking, I mean, show me the African nation, historically speaking, where, like, you know, there were millions of people in a particular country starving to death while just a couple of people have it all. And so, and I know it's like a big generality. I mean, we have the same crisis at the border at City Avenue in Philadelphia, where there are people who wish they could get their kids in the schools across the street, into any of those schools, because there are no resources in the schools in the city. And across the border on City Ave, those schools have everything. I mean, it is replicated everywhere. It's not just at the southern border. And I think, again, my bigger question is, what is it about this society that continues to replicate itself no matter what brand name you put on it? And I know that's a big question for the end of the show, but I'm still going to drop it there.
Well, I think, you know, in the days and weeks to come, one of the things, and I know we got to get ready to go, so Koisa, you can start the music. I'll be right there. You know, one of the things that we have to have a conversation about in general is about poverty, economics, and about the ending of the COVID crisis. We're so busy looking at what happens right now. I'm looking at what happens 8 months from now when we stop the moratoriums on housing, on utilities, all these other things. Folk haven't worked, and then, you know, unemployment's not there anymore. So there's going to be a whole mess of stuff that's going to happen there. So we need to do that. All right. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the Power Hour today. We really appreciate you. Mark Kelly, Tyler, and Dwayne Royster, really appreciate you checking us out and being here with us today. Thank you, Koisa, for everything that you do. Thank you to all of our listeners that have been with us here, YouTube, Facebook. If you have been listening on the air through the app, or by whatever means you listen to us each and every day, we deeply appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Stay tuned now for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. And listen, do us a favor. Go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night.